So I thought it was time that I did something that would probably cause a loss of subscribers. It's been a couple of weeks, even though I mention this fairly regularly in my episodes. But I thought that I would touch on, when I was going through some videos about a week or so ago, they had an ad up just before the video started. And they're supposed to be targeted ads, of course, on YouTube, but I don't find them that targeted. But anyway, and this ad was this man, and he was holding a very large fish by the gills, and the fish was still alive. And I suddenly had to quickly exit out of that video because as a vegan, I find that very disturbing. For me, seeing something like that, particularly when it's just out of the blue, is like seeing, say, a child being held up by his or her neck, and they're struggling for breath. And it's like a man holding a child by their throat, basically, and holding them up in the air as some sort of trophy. Really, they're so innocent, really, in a way, aren't they? We're so used to objectifying fish, because we're speciesist, and we're indoctrinated that way. We're so used to seeing fish as not even animals really, and certainly not sentient, even though they are sentient, and that's a scientific fact, meaning they have self-awareness. We're so used to seeing them as food, as we are with other animals, but I think fish probably even more so. We like to tell ourselves that fish don't feel pain, and they don't feel anything, and that it's okay because they were in the ocean, and they've been swimming around free, and so they've had their fun in life, and now it's okay for us to eat them. So when I saw, that man with the fish, holding that very large fish by the gills, and the fish is struggling, and he's totally unaware and does not care, while he's got his hand inside the area where that fish is used to have water flowing through with oxygen so that he or she could breathe. And now he's been, or she has been, yanked from the water with a hook jagged in his or her mouth, pulled out of having a lovely swim in their home by a human who sees that as entertainment, and then being held up by the very place where they're able to breathe, where they used to be able to breathe and now they're suffocating, while some very large being is holding them by the gills, with their hands underneath their gills, which must be very painful if you're elevated like that, and is posing for someone taking a video for an ad on YouTube. And like I say, for me, it is just like seeing a young child of, say, 2 or 3 or 4, being held up by their neck, by their throat, and suffocating to death while someone takes a photo or takes a video. That's what it's like for me as a vegan. And I hope one day that will be what you experience when you look down on your plate and you see a fish on your plate, or you see a crab or a lobster, or any of those sentient aquatic animals. I hope that you will think about what they went through, and also the life that they were enjoying, which was snatched from them in such a horrific and violent way for completely trivial reasons. Completely trivial reasons. Trivial because we don't need animal products at all to survive. We can easily meet all our nutrition requirements from plants and other non-animal sources. So the only reason we put that non-human sentient animal through all of that and took their life, took their life from them, their precious life, is because we think they taste good. I really want us to really think about that non-human animals are sentient, whether they're aquatic or land animals, just like the dogs and cats whom we live with. Imagine if you saw a man holding the dog whom you live with or the cat whom you live with, holding them up around the throat with their hands, just standing there, totally oblivious to the struggling for air, the struggling for life, and they're having a photo taken. And then they were going to kill them afterwards if they didn't already die from suffocation from the hand around their neck. Just imagine that. And just remember that whenever you see an animal product on your plate, because every single animal, every animal product is a result of great violence. All those animals struggle for life at the end. They had all sorts of abuses all the way through, even on these so-called happy animal farms, even on this so-called pretend free range, which is just another industrialized farm. There's no such thing as humane use of animals, and even if there were, it would still be wrong. Just remember, when you see any animal product on your plate, just think about a child being held up by their throat and struggling for breath, or your dog or cat struggling for breath, and that the person who was the killing hand was completely oblivious to it, or had to be oblivious to it because we put them there. They are there because we're not vegan. They are the killing hand, but we may as well be the killing hand. Please go vegan.